Alright, welcome folks to yet another video in the series, and this is the second take of the video, and I fairly wish to complete this video in the second take itself because I don't have the chance of editing this video. I've never edited any of my videos, to be honest, just for the fact that I have very less subscribers and very less views on my channel, but doesn't matter. I keep my promise. I upload a video once a day, and today is the 29th day of the 30-day series, the penultimate day. And just I've got an interesting topic. Today's topic is the continuation of yesterday's topic. How has Apple become the second most valuable tech company or the first most valuable company? And the story ended right where Steve Jobs was called back to Apple in 1997. So as yesterday's story went, Apple began very well. It had a good initial growth, but later had a decline in the late 90s. And that is when Apple unanimously voted for the co founder of Apple to rejoin them and become their CEO once and for all. He was Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs' return to Apple changed the fate of Apple forever. Because Steve Jobs had a good plan. He changed the entire way of marketing. I'm sorry, I'm thinking stuff. Let me get it done. The launch of iPhone, iPad, and the launch of first aesthetically beautiful computer. Steve Jobs just didn't want to bring in a computer, or he just didn't want to manufacture a computer. Instead, he always imagined something that will be a part of a desk, something that molds into your desk. That is where Apple does a really good job. They are masters of looking neat. They manufacture a product that is the neatest product available in the market out there. Right, from the iPhones to the iPads to the iMacs to whatever Apple stuff right there, including the AirTags, every product of theirs is very subtle. And the man to be credited for that is none other than Steve Jobs. So having said that, Steve Jobs told Apple in 1997. The first major breakthrough came for them after the series of inventions of the computers was the iPhone. Apple brought in the concept of smartphone. Though IBM had a concept of smartphone earlier, it was Apple who brought in the first commercially successful smartphone, the iPhone. A smartphone that can let you talk, that has internet connection, that has World Wide Web embedded with it, and it's a touchscreen phone. That is where the concept of smartphone emerged. There were no Android set up back then. iOS did the job, and Apple excelled at what was called the first smartphone. The rest followed. Then came the iPod. The iPod was a bit earlier. iPod, to be honest, was the first deal breaker for Apple. So Apple was iPhone was a mixture of the iPhone, the phone, the feature phone, and an iPod merging together. So now that they have brought in iPhone, iPod no longer holds value, and that is where the success of Apple began. Right, from each smartphone they brought in, each tablet they brought in, has always brought them success. And Apple has always been the leader in the market, weren't they? Apple make a change, the entire industry makes a change. Let's take a lot of examples, real life examples that Apple has already shown us. The first one, Apple launches a smartphone, the entire phone industry shifts to smartphone. They bring in their own softwares, but Google eventually came up with Android. But think for a second, everyone came up with their own ideas, their own smartphones, but Apple even excelled at what they did. Example number two, the recent change, or the change that happened between 2 to 3 years back. No headphone jack in the phone. And removing headphone jack from a phone was a very costly deal, or is the most expensive deal breaker that one is ever going to make. And Apple succeeded at that. Because Apple did it in a beautiful way that I'm sorry for that. Airports alone bring Apple more revenue than Xiaomi. Yes, airports alone. The sale of airports alone. That is how Apple marketed another product only in the name of removing the headphones and bringing a flagship earphones once and for all. The rest of the industry mocked it, but every company kept following. So every feature, every high-end smartphone right now does not have a headphone jack. Let's talk about the most recent change that happened a couple of months ago. Apple got rid of their charging brick. They sold their phone in the case without the brick. And this amused a lot of us. This amused every smartphone user. This amused every smartphone maker. Every smartphone maker even mocked Apple for doing that, but later all of them copied. The Samsung flagships that come out right now does not have a charging brick. The Xiaomi flagships that come out right now does not have a charging brick. So eventually, these are following Apple's trademark. That is where Apple sets a benchmark for themselves. They do something, they make the people follow it, they make the industry follow it, and they succeed at it. Which is why they're the most valuable company in this world. Have a good day. Thank you.